business, it's no joke. Marion and Mary explore the mind, being hope and healing for these changing times. Be the change you want to see, multidimensionality. Stillness, joy, shadow work, shamanic change back to the earth. New earth now, new earth now. New earth now.
Hello and welcome to New Earth Now. My name is Marion Porter
And I'm Mary back. And we're back with more silliness and singing and things we probably shouldn't be doing on air, but here we are.
Oh, can we sing the song a little
No,
bit?
let's go. Stick to your ticket.
Yeah, we got
New Earth
notes.
Now.
We got notes here. Oh, I do love that song.
I know I do too.
Thank you, Javo, for that wonderful song.
Which we sing in our sleep. Okay.
Yes.
So what are we
yes.
talking about today, Marion?
Oh, we got a mission statement here. Hope and healing for these changing times.
That's us. And today we're talking about self-care, which
Self-care.
is important anytime, but especially when things are maybe a little shifting, a little uncertain. You want to make sure you give yourself a solid place to stand, right?
Absolutely.
All right,
You
good.
know, I've often said self-care is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is everything. there is that misconception that self-care is all about what? Going to the spa.
Well, that's certainly a way to have
Yeah.
self-care. But you and I were talking most recently, and you surprised me. You said the key to self-care is self-worth. And I was like, I've never heard it expressed quite that way before, but it's true. If you value yourself, you're going to care for yourself. The same way you value your flowers, you water them. You value your jewelry, you keep it clean. The way you value your children, you love them and take them places and tell them stories and read them books. I mean, care is all about having something of worth.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
So unless anyone hasn't
Self-worth.
told you that recently, you're worthy of care. And you know what? Especially when you're adult, no one's there to do it for you. No one's following you around, wiping up your messes. No one's following you around to make sure you've had, your snack or to make sure you got your nap. You're in charge. And if you're in charge and you better not mess it up.
I love that. I love that. I love hearing you talk. It's almost like there's just diamond sparkles coming
This
through.
is why I like you, because you like me. All right, enough of that self-worth. Well, and also self-worth is realizing the talents you have, right? I'm a chatterbox, and if I say enough words, something good will come out. So there you have it. I know that for me, when I'm in a place, I actually stop myself and say, "What's going on with you, Mare?" I check in with my five senses. If things are good, if I'm seeing things that please me, if I'm hearing things I like, if I like music or the sound of birds, the ocean, if I'm tasting things that are healthy, if I'm tasting things that are delicious, if I'm touching things that are soft or pleasing or not prickly and sharp, if I'm doing things that help me. What was my last sense? I lost my five senses. Smelling things, am I outside in my garden? Am I smelling that scent of those lilacs, or is it the neighbor's compost pile? I check with my senses, and if I'm pleased by the five senses, I'm in a good place. If I'm not, I see if I can adjust something. Anyone that has kids knows a certain smell means you better take that kid and change him, right? So you start with your five senses. You start with your five senses.
I love that.
Which in the world of scrolling and social media is maybe not your first place to stop, but it's where I start. I start with my five senses. And usually that's a good key to me to understand if something's not right, what is it and what can I change? Because the responsibility of self-care is to change things if they aren't beneficial to you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I love that. Yes. The senses, that's what's really beautiful about being alive is we have this body that we can experience our reality, you know? And if we can experience our reality, we can choose what it is that we want to experience. You know, that brings us right into boundaries.
Boundaries.
You know,
We were talking over lunch earlier. She
Yes.
made a great lunch. This woman knows how to cook. And I surprised her by saying that boundaries, saying no is a form of self-care. You know, as someone who has long been invited to baby showers and bridal showers and long avoided them, I can tell you that saying no is a vital part about self-care. If I'm willing to spend 3 hours with my friend, that's one thing. I'm not willing to watch the bride unwrap every last toaster for 3 hours. No, 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 no. That would violate my sense of what's good for me. So, you know, yes, you can be invited to anything, to dinner, to drinks, to a bridal shower, to a wedding, to a destination wedding, and it's up to you to look at yourself and say, is this good for me? Well, then yes, let's go. And if it's not, then say, no, thank you. And saying no is a form of self-care. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of times you find yourself embroiled in a situation and you're like, how do I get out of this? And when the question should have been, how can I avoid this situation entirely?
I love that. And you know what I love more than anything is how many times have I been asked to do something and I don't want to say no because I don't want to let the other person down because of guilt or fear or shame. And what is that? That boils down to self-worth.
Back
Because
to your self-worth.
if I want to do something, the very act that I want to do it is enough. I should not need a reason. It's my choice. My life is my choice, you know?
I mean, there are going to be situations, obviously, if you're at work and your boss hands you a stack of things on a Friday afternoon, and you're not going to say, well, in the interest of self-care, I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to do this. Obviously, there's parameters. But if you're looking at your life and looking around your living room or looking around your yard, and you're thinking about yourself, which is okay to think about yourself, because I have news for you, a lot of us were raised that you're the last, especially for women, the last person who gets considered, right? How many times your mom served your dad first and then the other kids and finally sat down for herself and then it was something else that she had to get up for?
You can't pour from an empty pitcher.
You're right.
Now, I'm going to tell you, that alone is what I base self-care on.
Keeping the picture full?
Yeah, I want a full pitcher. I want to live a life in which that pitcher's never going empty, you know.
How do you do that, Mary?
Well,
tell us, how do you fill your pitcher, Mary? What's in your pitcher, Marion?
My pitcher's full of love.
There you go. There you go.
My pitcher's full of
Self-love.
Yeah. So yes. So here's the thing. Let's backtrack a tiny bit.
Okay.
I had done some meditative work some time ago, and I really got to learn the difference between my body and me. You know, we're in a body. We're the spirit in the body.
Right.
Right.
You don't
Spirit.
have a spirit. You are a spirit. You have a body.
Right.
In case you didn't realize that was going on. That's the premise under which we work.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
You're a spirit, you having a body.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, some people like to say body, mind, and spirit. Body, spirit. Body, spirit. More on that on another show, because boy, howdy. But, so the point of the matter is your body has a blood pressure, all right? Ding, 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 ding. I'm at a rave. That's my blood pressure, you know. Maybe not. But your body has a blood pressure. Now your spirit, you have a vibration.
Right.
All right? And you've heard us talk a lot about, you know, New Earth. The concept of New Earth is like a vibration type thing. And it is, you know, as within, so without. So just like, you know, self-care is, making sure you eat good food, making sure, your physical health, that's
get
where
sleep.
Yeah,
You
that's
have dreams. Dreams
yeah.
are important.
Yeah, that's where the blood pressure comes in, all right? That's your body has a blood pressure, all right? Your blood pressure is good, you're good physically. Now, your vibration is what you have. And that's what I'm basing all of my self-care on.
What raises your vibration? What brings you to a higher place? What brings you
Right.
to a more spiritual connection? The
Right.
things that you do that reinforce your sense of your vibrational self. Kind of like tuning a radio. If I'm on the AM band and I want to switch to FM, it's a different vibration. And if
Yeah.
I'm going to turn that turn the dial. How many radios have dials, right? How many people have radios?
This one does. This one does right here.
Our radio, our little boomer radio has a dial, and we can fine tune that to find the vibration that we want to have. And the same thing is when you decide, ask yourself what things do you love? What are the things that bring you joy? Because joy will bring you right up.
Yeah.
Music will bring you right up. A lot of what self-care is involving yourself, immersing yourself in the things that bring you joy and that make you feel connected to yourself, to others, and that do no harm to other people. That's, for us, that's a big deal. Do no harm.
And and if it sounded like emotional health or mental health, yeah. Yes. So I am very interested in doing things that just uplift me,
Right.
raise my vibrations,
And in our conversations, you were telling me how that's related in a great way to how your mom cared for you.
Yes.
Early patterning.
Yes. I have a theory.
Yes.
I have a theory that we learn how to take care of our body, how to take care of us by the very first ways our mother took care of us. So my mother was a working mother. She kind of had to, I was cleaned, I was this, I was that. Working mother has a schedule, not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But the way your mother cares for you is the way you care for yourself. And if not your mother, your primary caregiver, whoever was responsible for that early part of keeping you washed, keeping you fed, keeping you however.
And it's important to mention that a lot of people don't get that kind of consistent care. And
Right.
that is where, as adults, we struggle.
Right.
We struggle to realize that there is even a gap. Who thought you deserved to have praise? Who thought you deserved to have
Exactly.
whatever it is you were missing from your early wiring, your early care? So
yeah.
that's important to look at yourself. And sometimes it's not until you're an adult and you spend time with friends and you realize, wait a minute, what's that like, having a healthy relationship with your father?
My entire journey and my entire lifetime has been devoted to working on healing my inner child, healing my mother wound, these core issues. That's literally why
I'm a shaman, right?
Yeah, why I'm a shaman, why I'm a mystic, why I have the outlook I have is, you come to a certain point where, it's just because my parents gave me the childhood I had doesn't mean that now at almost 62 that I can't just blame that. Like, okay, I am a complete tool because I had a tough upbringing and deal with it. That's just how it is, all right? You just tough. No. That energy? No, not that energy. It's just because I had not the best parental influences doesn't mean that I can run roughshod over anybody else. Right. Newsflash. You are responsible for parenting yourself. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, And a lot of feelings of self-worth, a lot of feelings of all of this, that is what gets triggered when you hear self-love, self-care. You know, I had to claw my way
Out
through
to the top.
Yeah.
Well, it's your responsibility
Yes.
to make yourself
Yeah.
into your best you.
Yeah. And if I don't have the best examples of that, so what?
Right.
So what?
And I find
I
this is
deserve it.
this is the area where I find memories that maybe weren't pleasant can come up as it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is how I learned this. This is how I rewire it. This is how I make a better choice in myself. I remember once when I was home from college and I had the audacity to put in my earplugs and not earplugs, but my earbuds and listen to my favorite music while I was ironing. Because if I was Saturday and I was home, I was going to be ironing. Okay, so I put on the Go-Go's and I'm dancing around. My mother could not tolerate that. She could not, from her upbringing, tolerate. She said, first you do your work and then you have fun. And I said, why is it so difficult for me to have fun while I'm working? You know, pain is required, but suffering is optional. You know, if
Say it again. Say it again.
pain is required, but suffering is optional.
I love
if I had
that.
to iron on a Saturday, fine, I will iron on a Saturday. But I'm going to dance and sing while I'm doing it. I'm going to enjoy my time doing this thing that I don't enjoy doing. But that rubbed my mom the wrong way. So I have this very vivid memory of her going, for crying out loud, why do you have to? And any time I have one of these memories that crops up, I turn it on its ear and I go, what did I learn from that? How did I change that? Why was she so upset with me enjoying myself on a Saturday? It was almost as if she was trying her level best to make sure I didn't enjoy myself because she hadn't enjoyed her youth in that manner because you had to do your work first. Well, that's one mindset. And certainly look what it's gotten you. But what it got for me was, yes, of course, if I'm going to be doing something that's less than pleasant, I'm going to do what I can to make myself enjoy the time I'm doing it. And that's this kind of self-care. And it's hard sometimes to establish habits of self-care when the very people around you whose job it was to show you care have trying to stomp you down and fit in their little mold from when they were being raised. And I always cut my mother some slack because God bless her, she was born in 1928, which means her formative years were when women were in the 30s, you know, hems around your ankles. You didn't go out unescorted. You know, didn't wear makeup. You barely worked. And there were so many rules and tiny places. Women were only allowed to expand into so much of themselves. And that's what she grew up as the norm. So that's what she insisted was my norm as well. Never realizing that she was, 30 years out of date by the time I came along.
You know, that's a huge point because one of the first things I had to learn was, you know what? I need to cut my parents some slack because when I got to be their age, and I'm like, oh, I don't, my God, I don't think I could have handled it. You know, everybody's parents do their best.
Yeah.
Now,
we hope.
Well, they do the best that they can with what they have.
Yeah,
seriously.
I was not an easy child.
How could I have been an easy child? Look at me. How long have you known me? Am I easy to know?
You're easy to know, Marion. I'm not trying to parent you. I'm not trying to get you to be a place at a certain time, in a certain way, dressed a certain way to bring your homework with you. And, I understand that. I was a wandering off kind of child,
Yeah, but, that's the thing. It all boils down at the end of the day. I mean,
depends when your day ends.
Yeah,
but true.
Yeah, at the end of the day when your day ends, or right now, because if you're streaming this, you can pause this. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you to pause it. But since you might be streaming this, right here is the code. I'm going to put it down here for how you could help out here at Community Voice Channel because I love having this show.
Volunteering is a form of self-care.
I love having this show. This is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring you on it. Look, you love it. Look, here we are here. Hope you're loving it. And if you're loving it and you live, in one of the towns that CVC is associated with, you could come here and have your own show. It's protected under the First Amendment. It is. It truly is. So,
Come back to self-care, because
Yeah.
I went, let's talk about concrete ways of providing care for yourself in your three-dimensional world.
so
Like, what do you do, Marion? How do you care for yourself and make sure you're covering all your bases and giving yourself the highest vibrational experience to connect you with your best possible self?
the very first thing I do, and we did a show on this, shadow work. Because I'm going to tell you something. Here's a little distillation of the shadow work show. We all have an inner child wound. We all do. I have an inner child wound. I have a mother wound, whichever you want to call it. Everything that I see in life, I'm going to see through that lens if I'm not careful. And anything that triggers me is going to trigger me back to probably something in my childhood. The more shadow work I do, the less I'm triggered back to then, and so forth. So
The more you can respond from the place you are now.
right, that's
From
the
your
most
place of
important thing.
strength, right.
And so I literally do shadow work in real time, or as close to real time as possible, because I don't want to be responding from there. I want all of my bandwidth available to me, because that ultimately is something that refills that pitcher, keeps that pitcher full. I want a life where the pitcher never empties.
Right.
You know,
And it's always full of what you want it to be full of, not
Right.
with whatever's little emotional sabotage you've
Right.
walked into.
you know, it took me a long time to realize that as an Aquarius, I'm the water barrier,
you are.
literally pouring a pitcher. I'm literally pouring a pitcher.
Pouring yourself out,
yeah,
Marion.
yeah. So
To that end, too, I found myself more recently having cleared out my parents' house. Many of you have gone through this, or are going through it now, or have it faced in your future, is going through all the stuff of my parents' life and taking out the boxes. Like, I'll get to this later, I'll get to this later. Well, later showed up this weekend when I took out the boxes that I had hauled in from my parents' house. Lo and behold, I found like my very first resume from 1983. Do I need that? No, out it goes. Do I need to have these papers from my first education classes in college? No, out they go. Do I really need all this paperwork I saved when I was a teacher, asking for my personal days off for funerals and other appointments? Out they go. Do I need all these teacher evaluations from when I started teaching 41 years ago? No, I do not. Out they go. I'm going, why did I save all these things? Because at the time I saved them, they were important. They were part of who I was and what I was doing. And, oh, I have to save them. And, oh, what about the state? And if I was writing back and forth with the state about the requirements for my next level of certification, those were important papers to have, except now, being retired for as long as I have, they're not. In fact, they're not relevant, and who needs them? I don't let them go.
and how did you feel after that?
Making room in my life for the things that do matter to me.
Exactly.
And relieving my future self of the odious task of having to do this later. Now, I will say, I did save when something I picked up went, oh, yes, oh, or oh, that was from someone who's, if I had an emotional feeling that was gratifying and happy and full, and yes, of course I was going to save that card from that friend who has since died. Of course, why not? You know, but what I'm doing now is I've got myself my 2-gallon Ziploc bags, and I have this one has got, you know, cards and pictures from former students, and this one has my birthday cards, and this one has easily labelable, so I can tell my kids, okay, someday, just toss this whole works. You don't care about the students that wrote to me. And so it's the strangest thing, Marion, though. I was student teaching in 1982, and I can pick up a card, and I'm like, oh my, Emmanuel, I remember the kid, I remember conversations, and I'm thinking, oh, how is that possible that I can have such a clean and close and clear connection still? Oh, this kid's probably pushing 50, and I'm still remembering this sweet little child I student taught in Hartford, and then, you know, and then there's things I'm like reading letters going, see, who is it? I don't know. I've got birthday cards and letters from someone whose name I don't recognize, and I'm like, okay, out they go.
Yeah.
You know, so It doesn't. And I tell my husband, you know what? In 5 years, I'm going to go through this whole box. I got one box. I got it down to one box of things that are in Ziplocs I'm ready to save that I liked and I enjoyed and I want to keep because they bring me that sense of lift. They connect me to myself. The person I liked then, I still like now, and that's valuable to me. So I save them. And in 5 years, I go through them again. I don't like them. Out they go some more. You know, you got to be ruthless for yourself, not to yourself, but for yourself. You know, if I want to make sure the space in my house is a space that I can feel comfortable in and organized in and creative in, then I need to take responsibility for my own stuff.
Yes. Yes. This that you just talked about, this exercise, so brilliant, so much to unpack here. Absolutely brilliant, because you literally went tiptoeing through the tulips of your
I
life.
found stuff from when I was in middle school.
This is kind of shadow work.
Yeah, this is definitely shadow work.
A different way of doing it, but a great way of doing it that we all can do, because a tangible thing. And as you get rid of it, your bandwidth, your hard drive, these were files you were saving on your hard drive, living rent-free. Delete.
Let them go.
More bandwidth. What a beautiful analogy and a beautiful way to do it. Oh my God, I love that.
And I recycled so much of it.
I love that.
Kept it out of the landfill.
So much. I love that. That's, yeah.
So what else? What else do you do, Marion? How do you?
Well,
Because I've noticed we were preparing for the show, talking about this. You do a lot of good physical self-care things for yourself.
Yeah.
I do a lot of more, like I'll do things like first thing in the morning, I'm not getting out of bed. I got 2 cats and I want to read. I got to sit there and read with my cats until one of them gets up and says, oh yeah, start your day now. I have the luxury of time, I understand, over and over again. Yes, yes. I have the privilege of being retired and not having to work right now. So if I wake up and I want to read in bed with cats until I'm darn ready to get up, then I will. So reading with cats is something I like to do. I also find that floating around in the water at the beach is so wonderful. So I don't say, who wants to go? I just say, no, I want to go to the beach. I don't look for someone to go to the beach with me. I'll get in the car, make myself lunch. I'll just take my own darn self to the beach and enjoy my time floating around, enjoy my time in the sun, enjoy my time, being out there with the earth and sea and sky and all that entails for me. And it's okay for me to do some things alone because I'm the only one in charge of my own joy.
I love everything you're saying. I love
how you validate how I live my life.
I don't have to say anything in this show. I love it. No, but everything you're saying is so beautiful. And now I don't know where to begin. But I want to talk about what you last said. All right, so one thing I do want to say, you've been talking about how you've been retired, and I am retired now.
Yay.
I have been admiring your style of retirement.
Well, thank you.
I am now
my style of retirement.
Yes.
Living within my means.
Yes, but
and
I'm doing
making
it.
myself happy.
I do have to work. I be working on the weekends, but just a little bit in the mornings. But my weeks are going to be free. I have the luxury of time.
And that's the thing. And some days, and this is what I struggle with sometimes, is some mornings I wake up and I say, I have a whole day with nothing to do. I have nothing to do. I have no place to go. I don't have to be anywhere. What am I going to do? And sometimes I wake up going, I have a whole day with nothing to do. I don't have to be anywhere. I forget to be anywhere. What am I going to do? And it's all the same, except it's how you approach it, how you accept it, how you look at it and say, yes, I'm going to seize this day and shake the life out of it. Or you're going to stay in bed and be depressed because you don't. But it's an opportunity. It's how many times did I talk to my past self? All those times I had to get up and I go to work and drag myself and stay at work late. And now I'm just like, I remember those times, so I can appreciate the fact that I am not getting up. I don't even have an alarm clock anymore. My husband gets up, God bless him, he's a nurse, he's up early, and I say, hello, honey, bye-bye. And then it's me and the cats and reading in bed. And it's not even just reading in bed. Sometimes I'll bring a book of poetry out with me to the hammock, and I'll just But then half the time I don't even look at the book anymore. I'm just looking up and watching the light in the tree and the leaves and exploring color and enjoying the sounds of the birds. And I am just wildly content with absolutely nothing going on.
You know, and so much, again, so much. It's wonderful. So the thing of it is, how do you want to live your life? You know, you're in charge of your life. You are. And so do you want to live your life from the position of being a victim? Or do you want to live your life from the position of being a hero?
Do you want to just iron, or do you want to iron and dance while you're ironing?
Yeah, but it's all how you want to look at it. You know, I mean, you can literally choose your outlook. That's the whole crux of this whole new earth thing.
And it's not always easy.
But how do you want to see
And it's not
reality?
easy. Sometimes, I mean, I know y'all get pulled into memories of things that were unsavory, you didn't like, or were humiliating or embarrassing. We get those too, but I found, for me, you know what I do? I finally said to myself, you know, this is not working well. You can't do this all to yourself, because I am doing it to myself. There's no one else there when I'm just going, oh, blah, blah, blah. So what I do now is I just like say, you know what? I'm just going to think about flowers, which sounds insane, but you know what I do? I think about flowers. I think about this little sprig of freesias I bought in England when I was like 24, and how much joy those silly flowers brought me, smelling them as I traveled through my day in England that one day. And even now, the smell of freesias can bring me back there. So if I get myself stuck in a loop of disgrace or fear or anything that's not building myself up, that's not self-care, then I say, you know what, I'm going to stop thinking about that, and I'm going to think about freesias and the scent of freesias. That goes back to my senses again. I think about the lilacs. I think about when I was a kid, how my dad would cut every lilac off the bush and bring them in the house and fill every vase we had, and the whole house smelled of lilacs. I always, for me, it's flowers. It may not be for you flowers. It may be something else for you. For you, I know you and your kayak.
Well, let's look at some of this stuff, because you have said so many amazing things, and I want to talk about each and every one of them. And the first thing is, you know, since you are responsible, you are responsible for how you feel.
Yeah.
We all are. I am responsible. If I am reacting to something somebody said negatively, was it really negatively? How many times have we all gotten a text that's like, oh my God, how horrible. Oh my God, and she hates me, and now I can't.
And it all just collapses.
We go to stories. I go to stories all the time. Listen, this is a lot of what we go through too. So the point of the matter is, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? I'll pause. Mm-hmm. What are you feeling?
Are you physically comfortable? Because sometimes, I have to tell you, sometimes a good night's sleep solves a lot of things.
But the point of it is, stop yourself. What am I thinking?
Yep. Where
Where does it come from? Because chances are, it's just a thought that we're telling ourselves. You know, with the more you put yourself first, there's this whole thing, like you said earlier, women are supposed to, you know, put
everybody yourself
else.
first. You're selfish, but there's nothing. Is that wrong? Because like they say in the airplanes, you know, please fix your own mask before attempting to help someone else. If you can't breathe, you can't help.
If I can't put myself first and not feel bad about that, I mean, it's not selfish to put myself first. I'm not, you know, it doesn't mean that I'm now becoming this horrible tyrant, and if I'm at the buffet, I'm getting it first. No, it doesn't mean any of that. But that's sort of what is built into us to say.
So if you're at the buffet, you can have what you like and go back for more.
Yeah. So if I put myself first, then I can do this, and that. And that is the only way the pitcher stays full. Mm-hmm. That is the only way you can replenish yourself, because if I don't keep myself where I need to be, I'm ineffective to anybody else. Because if the higher my vibrations are, the more I am going to see that in the world. If I let my vibrations go down to the part where I am just not good enough for anything, look where I am. Look where I am. What is possible for me here but to bang my head on the table? And I've lived my life like that enough to know that if that's where I'm at, no, I need to restore. For me, it looks like exercise.
There you go.
For me, it's exercise. Like I say, look, you've been to the grotto. I have no living room area, but boy, howdy, I managed to put a home gym. And I'll get on my treadmill. I got one of those little treadmills, those little walking pads, 2.0. I don't need to walk any faster than that. And I'm walking, and I'll walk for a half hour. You know, get the issues out of my tissues.
There you go.
I have an exercise bike. I will use that. And I have a trampoline. I will use that. These things make me feel good.
And
it's
then outdoors,
wintertime.
you're the kayak girl.
Well, it's wintertime now, so I'm inside a lot. But I spend a lot of time in nature. You'll always find me in nature. I mean, it's things like that that restore me. You know, I love that. I love being alone. You know, we're taught, like, you know, we must always be, you know, alone time. And you talked about going to the beach alone.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do anything alone. No one's looking at you. No one's going to judge you.
And if you don't do it for you, you miss out. The first
Right.
time I saw Elton John, I went by myself.
Right.
I did, and it was a glorious experience, and I loved it. And the other time I saw him with someone else. But I will go to a concert myself if that's who I want to see. And I found that if I didn't go to the concert myself and I missed the opportunity, then the opportunity passed me, and I was upset with myself for having let myself down.
Yeah, and
you know?
sometimes I don't want to deal with another person.
No, sometimes you want to go where you want to go,
do what I want to do.
Eat what you want, get there, have the experience, come back and do it your way instead of having to fight with someone about, well, we're going to sit and we're going to have dinner. What time we leave?
No. And also, you know, in keeping aware of my own bandwidth, I know that if someone invites me to do something, enough people have been around me enough to know that if I say I don't have the bandwidth to do this right now,
she means
just
it.
say yes, because we know what happens when she's been around us. And I know that, and I'm taking accountability for my own actions. I know that I don't have it to be with this situation. So
saying no is
knowing
self-care. Saying no is having healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And healthy boundaries are self-care.
Yeah,
How else
because-
will you be able to regulate yourself if you allow yourself to be in a situation where you become overwhelmed by
right,
stimulus?
and so then I'm going to go and I'm going to act like I can, and it's not going to be good.
I know. I remember recently a situation where we separately arrived at a little venue for a concert we were going to, and I was with my friend, you were with your friend, and we were talking in line, and we were in line to meet the person. And then you suddenly realize, wait a minute, you had thought the meet and greet would be a different sort of venue where he would be on stage, we would have a chance to ask
was a great
questions to the
concert,
audience, but the idea of having the responsibility of meeting him up close, one-to-one, you're like, I need a cheeseburger, and you're gone. And I thought,
I had a cheeseburger. And I had a cheeseburger.
I thought, wow, that was fantastic. You didn't stop to consider anything else but what you yourself needed in that moment, and what you needed was not be overwhelmed with the social pressure of meeting this person. You came back in time for the concert, and you loved it.
We were actually sitting near each
ended
other.
up in the same row.
What were the odds of that?
It was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
It was a great memory. But I was so impressed with your ability to pull the plug in a situation that you knew you weren't comfortable with, even if it meant missing out on part of what you would purchase as your right as a ticket holder to arrive at this time, to be in this room, to meet this person, do those things, and you were okay with that because you needed self-care first. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, and that cheeseburger was a lot more fun.
and it was what she needed.
Yeah.
And what I needed was to stay in line and meet him and spend more time with him because, oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, it's trusting your body. Your body tells you. It tells you what you need. That's why I check with my five senses. Like, what am I so annoyed about? I'm like, what you're so annoyed about is you need to wash your hair, dear. So I throw myself in the shower, wash my hair, and I feel much better. So check with your senses, Starts with your body. Is my body clean? Is it fed? Is it slept? Has it well slept? Has it slept? Is it well slept?
Is it well
It's
slept?
fighting words. Are you well slept?
I'm feeling well slept.
Vitamin
Start
vitamin.
using it now. Hashtag well slept.
Well, stop that. Are you well slept?
No, but I love that though, because it is important to check in with your body.
Yeah.
And
if you haven't moved enough, then put on your favorite music and dance in the kitchen for half an hour.
I do it.
It's cheap.
I do
It's
it.
free. You're already there.
We did it this morning.
You did it this morning.
A song came on.
Do your Tai Chi. If you don't do the whole form, so what? Do the part you remember. Do your Qigong. Do your opening exercises. Do your Jing Dao.
Yeah.
Do it. Move because dance while you're ironing. Move your body because your body was made to move and it wants to be in motion. And being in motion gives it things like endorphins. To help
That's
them.
something for you right there. That's something for you right there. Endorphins change the chemical bit of your brain and you feel a little happier. There's nothing wrong with happiness. There's nothing wrong with joy. Remember, Spirit?
Joy is a default setting.
The first command Spirit gave me when I got into this life be joyful in public. So that people can know that joy is still possible. Mm-hmm. That was a very long time ago, and you know what? It's still good advice.
And you know what?
Still good advice.
Be joyful in private. If I'm going to fold laundry, then I'm going to sing a song I wrote while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be raking leaves, if it's nice out, it has been, I can do it barefoot. Nothing better than walking barefoot on the earth.
Yeah.
Do the things for yourself that give you joy. I don't need an audience. I know from my internal self that this is a joyful thing, it's a beautiful thing, it's a restorative thing. It's something that raises my vibration until I'm feeling more like the person I like to be best.
Well, look at the breakfast that I made. That would be the same breakfast that I would have made for myself. I just made it double.
Double, yep.
And to have you there, I love cooking for people. I love cooking for you.
So provide yourself opportunities to do that.
Yeah, that is fun for me. Cooking and eating.
And eating.
I am a hobbit, aren't I?
You certainly are. Nothing wrong with being a hobbit.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. One of the things. So since I did retire, I've been working for like 38 years, and just recently a very long 20-year stint I finished. When you retire, you're coming out of, like a social culture, a way of being, and now who am I now that I'm not
how
that?
You think of yourself?
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, tell me it was
no
tricky.
one's given me an evaluation. There's not but who am I now? Who am I now that I am not this?
Because that hit me, was particularly hard for me, because in my other life, for 29 years, I was a special ed teacher. And I got used to a diet of, oh, you're a special ed teacher. Wow. Oh, a special ed. So like, oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, yeah. And I just believed my own baggage. Anyway, but the point was, when I stopped being a teacher, then what was I?
Yeah.
I was still the same person I was. I wasn't going to the same job, having the same paperwork responsibilities, or getting the same agita, but I wasn't a teacher anymore. So what did that mean? We met people, they'd say, well, what do you do? You're like, I don't do anything. You can't do that to yourself. You can't get caught in that thing. No, I'm still the same imaginative, funny, vibrant person I was before I stopped teaching.
Yeah.
Even got it back now since I stopped teaching, but it's a job that almost killed you. But you have to. You aren't what you do. When you're in Europe, no one says, "What do you do?" They say, "What kind of music do you like? How do you spend your time?" Yeah. No one asks you what you do until maybe the 8th or 9th or 10th topic of conversation, but exhausted. What you do is that's an American thing. Yeah. That's an American thing. What do you do? What do you do? How much do you make? What do you do? But I fell into it. I fell into being the teacher. And I give you such credit. Don't give me credit. Give me cash. No, but it's became like it wasn't really who I was after all, was it? It was what
Right.
I did and what people thought of me because I did that. And that was silly because who I am is different from what I did.
Right. And so to that effect, well, here I am. And I entered a whole program where I was going to detox myself right there in the grotto. And a lot of exercise was part of it. And I'm still doing it. But I remember thinking, oh well, my spine hurts, my neck hurts, and I started doing some different things to work with my spine. And
You're
I
very
got
talkative spine.
yeah, I got one of these wheels that I would kind of put against the wall and move up and down my spine. You all have seen these things. And I remember each time, it's like an acupressure thing. And each time I was doing this, I was like getting these huge sighs, like, and I started, whoa, what's happening with each one? And I asked my body, and this is where talking to your body works, because my spine has now become my greatest teacher. And I'm going to share a little bit of the wisdom of my spine. But my spine said to me, these are the exhales that I haven't exhaled. And I'm like, oh, wait,
You've been holding your
what?
breath. You've been
Wait,
holding your breath.
what? And so I'm doing this, and I'm like, what is this about the spine? Well, it turns out the spine is like an antenna to the body. My spine starts showing me to think of it as like a power strip with 7 plugs for the chakras. All the body parts are plugged in. And I'm like, oh my God, you mean my spine is the most important thing? And this is
Of course, your spine's going to
Well, you
say
know,
that.
it-
It's your spine. Your
it's
spine's
good
not going to say your chin's most important thing.
Wait, we're going live.
Here's your
my
elbows.
chin has some
Oh,
words
the
for you.
spine is the most.
Wait, what? Oh God, a finger
I'm
needs
sorry.
to move.
I'm sorry. That's
But no, seriously, this is the thing. And I'm listening to my spine. I want to keep myself good. Look at that. Oh, my spine. Yeah. And if you saw our previous show, we talked a lot about the spine. In thinking about my vibrations, keeping my vibrations high, a lot of that is in the energy of my body. If you recall the Jingdao stuff from the previous,
I do.
Yes, well, the spine is the antenna to the body. Where for the Jing, if you will, is associated with the spine big time. And that's where my body's getting its electricity to run itself for the mitochondria to catch that little thing. Remember that? If you didn't-
Powerhouse of the
if-
cell.
Yes, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look at show 4. I think you'll
Or
like
your
it.
7th grade biology notes,
Yeah.
whichever you have hanging around. I threw
Yeah.
mine away, by the way.
Did you?
Out it went.
But the point of the matter is, for me to cultivate my physical health, along with, my mental health, that's everything it needs to be. That for me, I find is key, because if I've got these basic self-care things done,
Then you're ready to start your day.
or throughout,
your
because
day.
then I'm gonna be less apt to go from a place of craziness like I can be capable of, because if I am constantly in react mode, it's
You wanna respond,
It touches,
not
yeah,
react.
it touches onto
Respond.
the shadow work
Right,
part.
right.
So if I don't put myself first, do all of these things that we're both talking about, when it comes time for me to be in a position to help somebody, to pour from my pitcher, I will have something good to offer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that cultivating an internal reserve and internal calm. One of the things I learned from Jingdao, in learning that was to calm my inner seas, you know,
I wanted-
me.
I wanted-
Taking, but hang on.
Oh, yeah. I'm hanging
just
on.
taking responsibility for my actions, because it is our actions that we're talking about when we talk about emptying the pitcher or pouring from the pitcher. It's me doing an action. I want to cultivate the world that I want to see, as within, so without.
Be the change you want to
right,
see.
So if I am pouring chaos because I am chaos, I'm creating the chaos. So I want to be a steward of my own energy. And that is everything we're talking about. Because if I am just coming from a place of not doing any of my work and whatever, I'm not contributing to, you know, as within, so without. I am imprinting my craziness on the world and feel that everything I'm seeing, if every one of you watching this is just me, the perfect mirror of me. Remember we had that? Like, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at a perfect image of me, you know? If I am just seeing me, then this table is me, this pen is me, everything is me. And if I can keep myself calm and keep my self-worth up, keep my vibrations up, if I love me, I love everything I see. As I do the work, everything I see changes. So we all know that matter behaves differently when
observed,
you look at
absolutely.
it. Yeah, the double slit theory. But so if I am not doing my inner healing work and I am looking at the world in complete and total disgust and despair and whatever, that's what is being imprinted on the world. By keeping myself all in proper vibration for me, to kind of look at the world and imprint love on it, the world will change. And this is how we make the change. New earth arrives from within. And as within, so without. So the more healing work we do, the more self-love we do, I can only respond to someone. Everything I see is based on how I see myself. That makes sense. So if
It
I
comes
see,
down to two, honoring your inner child, honoring the things that bring you joy. I have found in the times I have said, now what am I going to do today? I'm like, well, if I were 9, what would I be doing? I'll be painting. Well, then I paint.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be outside playing. Well, I'm going to work outside barefoot until I
Yeah.
feel like coming in. I'm going to, you know, what are the things that when you were asked people sometimes, what were the things you love when you were, oh, I love fishing with my dad. Well, then go fishing. Like, I haven't gone fishing in years. Well, then go fishing. And they go fishing. Guess what? They have a blast.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go far. Just go in and say to yourself, what did I love when I was a kid? I love coloring. Guess what I do a lot of the time? I color. When I do readings with people, I end up coloring a picture of spirits and guides I see around them. You know, you never stray far from yourself. You're always right there.
Right.
Trust your inner wisdom. Trust that inner child. You knew what was fun and what was gratifying, what you liked when you were a little kid. You like climb trees? Well, then go find a tree. You know, you don't have to like put yourself out hundreds of dollars to get to the spa to have mud treatment and the hot stones. But you can do those things. God bless if you want to, and bless people that do those things. But you know what? I find for myself is I ask myself, what do you love? What did you always love? And that's why I find I still love it. I still love to paint. I still love to dance. I still love to go dancing in the waves, you know, and that's how I replenish myself. And that's how I feed myself to offer my best self to this world. Because I figure if I'm here now, it's because I'm here to help, because we need some help. So I'm here. And the best way I'm ready for that is take care of my body, feed it, sleep it, cleanse it, putter it up, give it cashmere sweaters, give it pretty jewelry.
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
I have an
play
entertainment
music for
budget.
it.
Yep.
Play music for it. Consider yourself first. If I really want to get dressed and go out with my friends and do something, I will do that. But if I'd rather stay home with my cat and play with Chase the Ribbon, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
self-care begins with no one else is going to do it for me.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our actions. Our actions are in a direct proportion to our state of inner
Being.
yeah.
Being.
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, if you're looking at the world and you're seeing something you don't like, chances are, oh, what does that refer to? Now I've done the work, I don't see that anymore. You see a different world when you do your inner healing work. Putting yourself first literally means doing your healing work, being accountable. You know, just because my parents didn't do the best job doesn't mean I have to live like it.
For years.
That was live.
Yeah,
that
we
was
were going
live.
live with Marion.
Again. What did I just say? What did I say? Just because my parents didn't do a good job doesn't mean I need to live like it. Think about that. Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Oh, I like it when I go live.
I used to
That's-
keep
yeah.
a picture of my mom, her high school picture, in my mirror. So when I was in my 20s and struggling with my mother, still trying to raise me, thank you, no. I tried to connect with the fact that before I was her tormentor into parenting, she was a whole different person with personality and likes and dislikes and passions and loves. So I had to honor the fact that she was still in there somewhere. I could disagree with the way she was treating me at this particular time in my life, but I didn't throw the baby with the bathwater. I tried to see value in her life and connect with a part of her that was that joyful, happy teenager in her high school picture.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
So
Compassion.
Yeah.
Hating my mother was never going to make it any better. Having compassion for her and realizing that I was probably the reason she was crazy. Because
Oh, no, not yet to that.
no. What I'm
that's the
saying
thing.
is, I understood that she was trying really hard to raise me to be like she was raised.
Because she thought but she just thought that's what she was supposed to do.
I'm sure her mother did it to her, and it worked for her. It didn't work for me.
But here's the thing. When you do all of this, when I do all of this, oh, we better wrap this up.
Hurry!
Yeah. So by doing my inner healing work, I am seeing and being a different world, keeping my vibrations high, and
New Earth Now.
New Earth Now.
It's on TV.
Yeah, it's on TV, and that's what it's all about. Don't be afraid to put yourself first, because that is how you keep your pitcher full. You no longer pour from an empty pitcher. But this show is over right now. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. We'll see you next time.
There you go. Ta-da! Ta-da!
We did it.
New Earth Now is on TV. New Earth Now on CBC. New Earth Now.